Let me guess. You're the type of person that doesn't read the instruction manual, just figures it out along the way. Yeah, that was me too. Then I realised I was being dumb. So my story for today, new gym in my building opened up and there was a guy in there struggling with setting up the CrossFit clock just to show the time. He had the instructions in his hands and he was sat there for about 5 minutes. And so I looked at him and was like, "You right?" And we got talking and then he was basically like, "Are you any good with this sort of stuff?" And I was like, "How long you've been there? This is famous last words, but usually, yeah. Like, what's your problem?" And so he just couldn't figure it out. And I'm like, "You're holding the instructions. Have you done what it says?" He was like, "Oh, it's just not working." I was like, "Okay, let me see the instructions. 5 steps. Click program. Click enter. Cycle through until it says set clock. Change the time. Press OK." Shocker. Admittedly, one of the steps in there was the set clock thing. It didn't look like set clock on the machine. So you wouldn't figure it out if you didn't have the code essentially to translate what that meant. But it was that simple. Fixed it in 30 seconds. Please, for the love of God, you didn't go to school to learn maths. You went to school to follow procedures. That's it, so that other people who have designed something, they found a way to do it, that you can just follow their instructions to do it faster. It's really funny. He then went on to tell me how all the way through school, he just ignored his maths teachers and he just figured it out on his own. And then he realized, once he got to quadratic algebra and beyond, it just didn't work. He needed the support to figure out how to do this stuff. And then he asked me what I did, and I was like, "I teach kids maths," which was hilarious. But it's so true. The average population cannot do following the instructions. Having someone build some IKEA furniture is a pretty good employment test on average. Because if you cannot follow instructions, how are you meant to learn a new skill? That's it. So if you want to get better at life, learn to follow instructions. And one of the easiest ways to learn to follow instructions is to try to make them yourself for other people. And what you will realize is that the way that you think you're doing something is not the way that it's done. So what you do is you list out exactly what it is that you do. Then you do the task with that checklist. If at any point you have to change what you did because you know that's not the right step, add that in or remove that item until you end up with a checklist that works. Then you give it to someone else and you watch them do it, and they will do it wrong. Where they then go wrong, correct the instructions. And then they get to a point where they can do it, just follow the instructions, not what you do, and then you give it to another person, see if they can do it first time with the instructions. That's how you make good SOPs. And that way, you will then learn how to follow other people's instructions as well. It's pretty long-winded, but it's the only way you can delegate stuff. There is a way to do this. We need to have a written process of it because you cannot remember how to do everything ever, always. You will move on, you will do different parts of your job and you will forget the intricacies of it. A prime example of this that I have in my company, every time the clocks change, it breaks. There is a system in our thing that breaks, and the first time it broke, it took me hours to figure it out. 6 hours, had to go through, be like, where has this impacted? Had to go and manually fix everything that broke. Go through and read the code of what I'd written as a script to see what was it all doing again and see where did it actually affect it. Now that I have done that, at that time, I then wrote an SOP of exactly what to do the next time. And I forget every 6 months. I just don't know what it is. Happened last week. So I opened up the SOP, found I didn't have to go and read any of the scripts, didn't have to go and edit any of the code. There is literally one formula that I change, and I've got it copy and pasted. This is the formula for this time of year, and this is the formula for this time of year. Just copy, click, paste, done. 6 hours worth of work reduced to only a minute because of a good SOP. Standard operating procedure. Would 100% recommend that you learn how to follow them. If you can do that, you'll be an exceptionally good employee and you can learn any skill that you want. Find someone who knows how to do it, ask them to build you an SOP and then do what they say. That's it. So Christian, please, talking back to me, when you get frustrated that you can't do something, go and find someone who does the skill and ask them, hey, please can you help me write an SOP for the thing that you're doing that I can't? And then I will be able to transfer the skill and practice when they're not there. That's the key. That's what they're for. SOPs are to be able to delegate work and say, hey, here it is, go and do it. If you have any questions, refer to the piece of paper that tells you how to do it. Come and let me know. So there we go. SOPs are good stuff. Have a great day.